At 12 years old, I had major body image issues. At 25 years old, I looked like a fitness model, but inside I was bloated, fatigued, and totally disconnected from my body. If I can go back to day one, knowing everything I know now after 8 years of experience, here are the 5 lessons that would have changed everything for me. I'm Jen Sarbone if you're new here, and I help high-achieving women attain their health and fitness goals through holistic and sustainable practices. And today we're getting cozy. I'm gonna share with you the 5 mistakes I made so that you don't have to do the same through my stories. So grab your kombucha or whatever it is you choose and let's chit chat. Now, before I get into it, please be sure to like and subscribe as I want to continue to make this kind of content to help you. I also have a free guide in the description. Story number 1, this is back to when I was 12 years old because it's actually very significant. I'm sure there are people out there who have had parents where it feels like you were their parent and you had to kind of take care of them, which is really difficult. So I had a mother kind of similar. She's not with us anymore, God rest her soul. But it was a little challenging being her daughter. However, she had terrible body image issues. And as we know, we adapt things from our parents. And so one time she told me I had to lose 5 pounds. Me, blessing the ground she walked on, really wanted her attention. I don't want to get bans, but I did very drastic things to get to that goal. Long story short, I ended up in an eating unit. I may need to bleep that out. We had some sound issues, so had to change scenery. Regardless, to sum up that first part of my life, I was in intensive care for a long time. I won't get into details. It was quite horrifying when I came home from school and was told that I gotta go here. I thought, oh my God, everything I worked so hard for, they're gonna force feed me. It wasn't that bad. Anyways, even leading up to that too though, like wanting to be the best cheerleader, being the tiniest cheerleader, wanting to have all the friends, being the skinniest, you can tell that my self-worth came from being tiny. I thought in order to be loved, accepted, and approved, I had to be skinny. The lesson that came out of that is change your mindset. If you're trying to achieve a health and fitness goal, it shouldn't be out of punishment or negativity, like, oh, I hate my body, I feel disgusting, I have to go work out. That's never gonna last. You're gonna do something too quick, you're gonna crash and burn, and you're gonna get into this nasty, vicious cycle. I see too many people do it. So 1, if you have a goal, the first thing is to sit with yourself. Hey, I love myself and my body and everything it's been through, but how can I make it better? How can I become a more mental resilient person? How can I be a more disciplined person? Let's go into story number 2. So this was my bodybuilding era. So when I was about 22 years old, I moved from New Jersey all the way to Clearwater, Florida. And at the time, I saw on Instagram all of these bodybuilders. They looked gorgeous, they were on stage, and for whatever reason, I said to myself, I really want to do that. I didn't know anything about lifting weights. I was a hit girl, that's all I knew. But I knew that I just wanted to do it. So lo and behold, I met a few people who knew a few people. I ended up meeting a bodybuilding coach who had his own warehouse. It was freaking awesome. I showed up one day and he just let me train 6-7 days a week. Didn't even charge me. I was in the mix. I remember my whole bodybuilding split. It was so cool. Now, he told me to just pick a competition date and we'll go for it. Naturally too, I didn't really know the nutritional aspect. So I went home every day, studied on YouTube, macros, how to be on a deficit, how to get shredded. And I took it very seriously. I meal prepped, there was no stopping me. Problem is, I got shredded way too quickly. I started actually crying during my workouts. I lost my period. It was too intense. Long story short, I actually did end up winning the first place overall title, which was amazing. I was able to manifest it, I put in the work, and I got it done. The only thing that really sucked about it was my boyfriend at the time. He didn't come to the competition, so it was just myself. I remember I had all the trophies in my hands. I won. I was calling him to tell him like, hey, I won, and the dude was sleeping. I was like, the top is lonely. So I was very alone. I didn't have a lot of support other than the few resources I had. So the lesson out of this, lesson number 2, is you need to have an end goal and reverse engineer with anything in life. But if you're just mindlessly going to a goal, that's great and all, love the enthusiasm, but you're gonna suffer from severe health issues. I literally got so skinny so fast and I didn't know how to reverse diet. So even when I gained the weight back, I had a lot of psychological and physical repercussions that I had to deal with. Know too that when you have a goal, you're not gonna just go from A to Z. Sometimes it's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Everybody has a different starting point. Maybe the first phase is just building a habit, maybe just showing up, maybe just hitting a protein goal. Maybe phase 2 will be, okay, cool, let's add the calories and fat. Let's superset. You know what I mean? So usually nowadays with my clients, we go through designated phases for them to get to their end goal in a safe and sustainable way. Story number 3. This is when I became a fitness model. Back in the day, shortly after this competition, I saw an ad on Instagram. At the time, I only had about 6,000 followers, nothing crazy. However, they were scouting for 10 fitness models in the United States to become a part of their team, to basically get paid to travel, go to expos, meet famous people, give out supplements, do photo shoots. It was like the ultimate dream for me at the time. I remember grabbing my friend's camera and green screen, basically just submitting my video saying, hey, what's up? I'm Jen from Jersey. And for whatever reason, they picked me. I was the youngest one. I had the least amount of experience, but I ended up going to all these events, you know, the LA Fit Expo, the Arnold, the Olympia. It was really cool. But after a while, I was prepping for these events as if I was prepping for a competition. I took it very seriously again. Fasted cardio, deficit. I wanted to look perfect. And so when I would get there and the show would be done, I would binge like binging was out of style. So again, I would punish myself and get thin again. The problem with this was I had started to develop a very negative relationship with myself and food, and I wasn't able to just be at a baseline. Lesson 3 is just slow and steady wins the race. Just like I said before, go through phases, take your time with it. So let's get into story number 4. This was when I was about 25 years old. I had already become a certified personal trainer. You know, I was training people in and out, but I found a new entrepreneurship endeavor, and it was this whole financial thing that I tried. Built a team of 30 people, whatever that looked like. The whole entire concept though, it's not that it doesn't work, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't authentic. I worked so hard to build a team, to do product knowledge, calls, travel, whatever, and I ended up burning out really, really bad. I stopped listening to my body. I was doing 12, 14-hour work days, and even though I was working out, my body was fighting against me. I was incredibly bloated. I just felt like crap, and instead of just listening to myself, slowing down, I just kept going. One day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was so tired. I couldn't even function. And so come to find, I got a whole bunch of gastro tests, had major issues, SIBO, H. pylori, gastritis, adrenal fatigue, okay? At this point, I was at rock bottom, and I took a whole year off from life. But I ended up getting a naturopathic doctor who was able to identify my symptoms that doctors can't really do. And I ended up taking the holistic route to really heal my symptoms. I've learned how to listen to my body, slow down, how to connect with myself. That way this never happens again. So the lesson out of this is, I know you're probably a busy woman, you're very high achieving, and a lot of the time we put our emotions and our feelings on the back burner. And so this manifests as physical symptoms of bloat, exhaustion, depression, fatigue, anxiety. These will actually manifest as physical symptoms that will affect you in the long term. So listen to your body. The key thing is having a solid morning and night routine, taking breaks throughout the day, and doing a little bit of you time. This will go such a long way, and you're not gonna have to crash and burn and hit rock bottom. Let's fast forward to now. Eventually, after I went through the protocols, life picked up again. I got a couple jobs. I was a district manager. I met my boyfriend. Like, things were picking up again. And even recently, I caught myself overworking and not listening to myself, and now I'm going through another gut health protocol. So the thing is, in the past few years though, I've hired a professional nutritionist, I have a coach, I've taken courses, and every single time I've actually invested in someone and put my money into it, I've had better results, I've had support. You need to understand that you deserve the help. I waited too long to ask for help, and so again, you need to share the load. Coaches will literally cut your learning curve in half. So my last pointer would be just hire the professional. Don't try to, I don't deserve that. Let me just try it myself. You will stay in the same cycle for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. How long have you been wishing you were healthier, you looked better? And how many times have you made an excuse? And how many times have you started something, quit, try it again, quit? Just hire the professional. To sum up my story, lesson 1 would be to do things out of love and have the right mindset going in. So crucial. Lesson number 2 is to get the proper education. Don't just do stuff mindlessly because you're seeing it on social media and you need to have that now and you have FOMO. Learn your body and be in it for the long term. Lesson 3 is to go the slow and sustainable route. You don't want to just do something, burn out, have to start over. Lesson number 4 is to listen to your body. When you have negative emotions or something just doesn't sit right with you, or you're physically not feeling good, don't just ignore it and keep going. When it comes to anything in your life, like, you deserve to listen to yourself. And lastly, number 5, There's so much support around you. If you feel called, reach out for support. So friend, if any of this does resonate with you, you have perfectionist tendencies, or just anything in general that I said, be sure to subscribe and comment below, as I always do like to answer comments if you have any questions. Also subscribe, because my next video is going to be on how to reset your metabolism, which is going to be really helpful for you. Lastly, grab the guide in the description box, and I really hope to see you in the next one.